how many of us they got sitting on the shelf. All cause we ain't got the knowledge of ourselves. Reaping the anguish from bringing the pain while we speaking the language of England and Spain. Still wearing their names and they ain't never came in peace before. The real war is with this beast conquistador who conquered us both with their fake gods and images and honor they owe to rape, rob, and pillage us. The Olmec, Aztec, Inca, and the Maya all share the same aspect of thinking on a higher level family tree of Aboriginal tribes. That's why we all got the same G-original vibe. When it comes down to it, we both feel what the spirit is. Both real warriors who both built pyramids. So full, here it is, believe it or not, we ain't two different people, we both came from the same spot.
Peace and blessings, everybody. Welcome, welcome, welcome to Black Thoughts and Talk. I am your host, Brother Stokes. Thank you for joining us today. And my guest was supposed to be Brother Nasir Islam. However, because of work schedule, he could not make it. I got on the phone and I called my brother, Brother Andrew Keaton, and he automatically said yes and would step in. And so we're going to have a dynamic conversation. I'm going to introduce him shortly, but I just wanted to tell you what this show is designed for and what it's about. This show is about Black men talking and having a space where we can share our experience, strength, and hope with the community on how we feel, what we think, what we talk, and also to redefine what Black masculinity is. Black masculinity has been defined as something these days as wrong. And so, like, we want to define Black masculinity as kind, loving, caring, sharing. We're fathers, we're brothers, we're uncles, we're grandsons, we're the whole gambit of America. And like the shirt I'm wearing today is the African Holocaust. And on the bottom of it is a ship with Africans in the hulls of ship. And there were Black men who are Africans who were brought here to America on the hulls of slave ships. And we can never, ever forget that there was something done to the Black man here in America. And this is not for us to gather sympathy. We don't want nobody's empathy. We just want to express to you who we are. And it seems to be this attack on Black heterosexual males. And it really has come to a crossfire where I've been seeing all of the Black men who have been murdered disproportionately to women and all others. And it's like we're stacking Black men's bodies up so that we can stand on them as a platform to scream Black Lives Matter. But rarely are Black men's conversations of any consequence or matter. And so this show is to talk about that and how we operate, how we see things, how we move, and to the Black women who will be listening to this show, it's not about a beating up on you. Black men are not misogynists, and I want to express to my Black brothers who are homosexual, gay, transgender, queer, whatever whatever that's what you are. But to me, you're Black. You're my brother. You're my sister, and I love you, and Black men love you. But oftentimes we're held in a constriction with our conversations based upon we don't want to be labeled either misogynist, homophobic, or whatever title it is to muffle the Black man's voice and how we operate, how we move. And so I'm going to read some things a little later on in the show, talks about what's going on, and particularly with this contract with Black America. I got it right here. It's only 22 pages. I ask everybody who has been talking about this to print this Black contract with America. This man met with a lot of scholars who validated it. Dr. Boyce Watkins, Dr. Cloyd Anderson. On the prefaces by Derek Hamilton, professor and executive director of Kirwan Institute at the Ohio State University. and incoming Henry Cohen, professor of economics and urban policy and university professor at the New York School, the contract with Black America that Ice Cube did. So we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about a lot of situations that's going on in the community. And so I've said that to set the groundworks. This is going to be an unapologetically Black man's conversation. And we're asking, and that we ask that you allow us this opportunity to express ourselves. You know, and I'm going to conclude with this. You never hear, you never hear white people say about how other white people vote. Does that make them real white or not? Black people are always somehow tied to how we vote as being authentic blacks or not. And this has been going perpetual in this cycle. So we're going to open up the conversation for that. But we know that Black men, we love you. This is not Black women, we love you. Black homosexuals, queers, transgender, gay, we love you. We're your brothers. We're your uncles. We're your cousins. We're your fathers. And we love you. And I can't announce that enough. And so without further ado, I'm going to introduce to you all who know him. But I want to say personally to this man how much I love him for everything he shared with me of himself and how he has always embraced me. And so I love you, Brother Andrew, and tell me what you're thinking, brother.
Well, first of all, thank you for this wonderful platform, Black Men Thoughts and Talk, with Charles Stokes. I really appreciate you even calling me and extending the invitation to be on your show, and as well, these open conversations needed. They're needed in the community, and we need to have these conversations in the community, and we need to start talking, not only just talking, but action steps need to be taking place, and we've talked about that a lot. So I really appreciate being on here to dialogue, and as you know, the platform you're providing here, the stuff that D.Moss is doing with all of the shows is actually it's setting the bar for a lot of conversations that are not being had in the community. So the thing about us, and we're right here in Springfield, and if you know the history of Springfield, Springfield is known for a lot of firsts that people don't even talk about. So I really appreciate the opportunity to sit here and just chop it up with you, man. And once again, brother, I love you. I always encourage you as well as you encourage me. And I love all my Black brothers, man. I really, even if I don't know some of them, and with the love in my heart, I mean, I have love for everybody, man. I just want us to one day in unity just be at peace.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't know, under the structure and the current conditions that we living in, that we're going to be able to find peace. But if we can tap into our spirituality, we can tap into our energy, we'll find our way to peace and find our way to each other. So I just wanted to say that.
Absolutely, man. I really appreciate that. And I want to again give a great shout out to Brother D.Moss, man. Him and I have really increased in brotherhood throughout our 22-year history journey. And how I met the brother when he was working at MLK. I had just got out after doing 20 years, man. And we met, and automatically I was on some tribal stuff because who this dude isn't from here and all of that stuff, man. It was a rough go with what Daryl accepted from me, you see, because he didn't have to accept me what I was saying and doing to him. And it's because of his willingness to accept me, and because he wasn't identifying with what I was saying. It meant nothing to him because I wasn't who he was saying he was. But he took that, and through that process, man, one day I was walking by City Hall. I went up in the office. I said, I want to speak to Mr. D.Moss. He came out, and I apologized to him And I told him I loved him and I hugged him. And from that moment forward, it was like the past was gone. And, you know, that's what a good man is about. And Daryl Moss is a good man. He took a lot. And so, like him putting this together, and I was like, man, well, listen, I want to, because he was about to come back on the air. And so he said, man, do your own thing, brother. What is it you want to do? And I was like, yeah, I really want to do this, man. I want to take this opportunity to express who we are as black men without being unabashed. And so thank you, Brother Daryl, for this opportunity. So I just want to switch gears if we can. Oh, there you go. My brother.
Hey, man, I just want to say thank you for them kind words. I appreciate it. And yo, man, in the spirit of blackness and Africa and unity and all that wonderful stuff, it's what we got to do, man. We deal with our issues and we kind of move on. So that's beautiful, man. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Listen, I'm always trying to steal the shine. Daryl, tell you I'll tell you the story about Daryl. Me and Daryl really don't like each other, but our energies are connected. No, I'm just playing. Me and Daryl, our energies are connected, and I've told him that before, but like us three in a room, your energies are connected, and I'm tapping more into that. And just a quick story: we did a show last night. This morning, I set up my libation table again, and I was able to have a conversation with my grandmother. And she told me that I was going to be doing a platform today. She don't know what time it was, that I was going to be doing a platform today and to tell the brothers to keep doing what they're doing. Now, my grandmother has been deceased for about 40 something years now. And that's the truth. So she told me to tell you brothers hi, man. And I'm really in tune to that stuff. And I've been into that for a while. And keep doing what you're doing. That's what the message she told me. I'm a vessel. I'm her vessel.
We don't argue with grandma, so respect. Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
So basically, I really want to talk about this, like this whole assault on black men. I call it assault on black masculinity. I'm not a professor or a doctor, but sometimes I think, man, and I'll be like, there's if you look at social media, you see posts like a real black man would do this, or a real man would do that. And it's everybody's always telling what are the qualities of a real black man. And then you look at how we are talked about in a lot of cases. And so it became disturbing, and the assault really manifested itself with the contract with Black America, with Ice Cube. And I was thinking, brothers, I'm like, okay, Ice Cube, a man who every business decision that he made was successful. Everything he's done has been successful. Every move he's made has been successful. He does a contract with Black America, and he puts it out. And instead of anybody saying or reading it, here it is, 22 pages long. Instead of people printing it out, reading, and see what it was this attack on the brother. And they automatically lumped it with politics because he presented it, and it's like the language used against Ice Cube. It had, to me, I looked at it, was all, it got out of the political context to people beginning to talk about him. There's a lady by the name of Brittany Cooper. You heard of Brittany Cooper?
No, I haven't heard of her. I'm sorry.
Brittany Cooper is a professor from Rutgers University. She's also an MSNBC consultant, a black woman. And she said that Ice Cube, I'm going to read her words. She said, we all have issues with Biden, but Trump is a damn fascist. And who is Ice Cube that the Democratic Party will feel the need to talk to him about the broad political concerns of Black America. Is he a political leader or organizer? No. Then she goes on to say, Black men are breaking my heart with this capping for Cube cum cum dash Trump. Right? Cube cum Trump. Apparently, y'all want to be the 2020 what white women were to 2016. And this is why to be Black plus woman is to have a serious serious consider daily what it means to get close to either group. Then she called us treacherous motherfuckers, right? This is a college professor, a Black woman. She says, now, I mean, Black women are out here doing all we can, listen closely, to salvage anything like credible, liberal, left, progressive politics. And some of these brothers are like, but Trump might wave at us and make us feel like real men. So, fuck all y'all. This is why we can't have nice things.
Listen, listening to that, first of all, I want to say this is, and this has happened since COVID, I haven't really subscribed to any kind of news media, anything that's being perpetuated by any kind of news media or any kind of entertainer. And this is why. I think the plan that he put forth, and I didn't read it at all. I heard good things. I heard people say good things about it. I heard people say negative. But to me, when the height, one thing COVID has done to us as indigenous people is making a lot of people woke. And it's making a lot of people adhere to what's going on, really what's going on. And a lot of these things that are put in front of you are distractions from what the real reason or why it is. Now, for that lady to personally attack one of our brothers, and she's one of us too. And
right.
That's the problem that we have too, is because she singled herself on an island and went on to attack one of our brothers. Brother Stokes, people love Ice Cube. They love Cube.
I'm Ice Cube.
Right. People are, they feel that Ice Cube gave them a voice. There's also some people that feel that Ice Cube and NWA is responsible for the name calling of our women. Okay, I get that. I understand that. But what I want to say, for her to tear her brother down, it's about distractions. And for her to say that the Democratic Party does not need his permission or anything, or he is in politics, to sit down with him is a slap in the face to what's been going on for 400 years in this country and what the Democrats have given us. And I hear a lot of people say, well, if Biden win, when he get in office, now we're going to put pressure on him. Well, we've been putting pressure on people for,
60
for the last decades of people. And nothing has changed for the people. So all I'm saying is, when these things happen, and you can talk more about it, when these things, they're just distractions. They're really distractions to get us off and really what's going on, to really not focus on what's going on. These two, like we talked about last night, these two are at war with each other. Both of them, do Trump give a damn about black folks? No. Does Biden? No. Does Kamala Harris? No. And people gonna get mad because we say that. But they don't, because for you to engage in this political system, knowing what this political system has done to us, you're already committing a travesty against your own people and what our ancestors fought for and stood for. And that's before the civil rights. So that's what it is there's a front, like, we cannot unify when you have, and I heard the comments, just people split down the middle of this. And a lot of us do not study and do not do research. So we join in the conversation because everybody wants to get him out the White House. Just getting him out the White House has nothing to do with what conditions we're in.
Nothing.
Putting somebody else to continue the conditions we in has nothing to do with us. And listen, like I said, Ice Cube has money. He has this. He has a little bit of a platform where he can maybe call a president or something, call for the meeting. But Ice Cube does not speak for all of us.
No, and so my and everything you said is right and exact. But I've gone beyond the political aspect of it to the fact of language that's being used.
Right.
That's not like so this article was written in the Grill, right? So here's why I pay attention to this stuff. An article was written in the Grill by John Jason, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he talked about the ice cubes in your family, right?
What did it say? The Ice Cube what?
How can you identify the ice cubes in your family,
right.
who are somehow people under the impression that we support Trump? When you ask critical questions, don't even ask a question about the Democratic Party. And here's another thing I want to say. When did the vote take place by Black people in America that we were to be the official house niggas of the Democratic Party?
Mm.
And whose permission does Charles Stokes need to write a contract with America and give it for Black America and give it to whomever is willing to do for our people? What Ice Cube does is what a lot of people that like me would do. I don't got to deal with the Congressional Black Caucus. I don't got to do none of that. This is my plan. I'm doing what I want to do. If you're Black and you don't want to be a part of my contract with Black America, cool. Shut up. Because everything you just said, Andrew, is true. For 60 plus years, Blacks have been prostitutes for the Democratic Party with nothing substantial. So the Congressional Black Caucus says that they have a plan. Well, then when were you going to tell Black people, Congressional Black Caucus, that you had a plan more expensive than Ice Cube? When were you going to notify the people? Because so that's a lie.
Because
that's a lie.
Because that plan is geared for certain people, like always. But
so Ice Cube, hold on, let me finish. So Ice Cube is saying, I ain't talking about minorities. I'm not talking about diversity. I'm not talking about multiculturalism. I'm talking about a contract with Black America who are the descendants of the prisoners of war who were brought here to America to be slaves. That concept is from Powernomics, Dr. Claude Anderson, who Ice Cube met with. Dr. Boyce Watkins, who Ice Cube met with. Ice Cube has been telling us who he's met with. If you're Black and you don't want to be a part of the contract with Black America, you don't have to get into it. But to the language, a motherfucker is a language that used because Black men sometimes were forced to have sex with their mothers. So this is the language you're using against your brother because white people are having a fight. Democrats and Republicans, Dixiecrats and Republicans are having a fight. And what they're fighting for is the souls of Black people. Neither one of them gives a damn about us. So we're going to act like it really does. We have never been free in America. Here's one point, I'm going to finish. Donald Trump, before he ran for office, right? He said, Barack Obama, show me your birth certificate. He jumped. This is white supremacy. He said, show me your birth certificate. Barack Obama had to show his birth certificate. Fast forward, Trump runs for office. Show me your income taxes. Trump says, I'm not showing you nothing. You can't make me show you nothing. I'm not Barack Obama. I'm a white man. I'm free to do what the hell I want to do.
Mm-hmm.
And so and this is what I'm expressing is what a lot of black men see. And when we express it to people, they act like we're wrong for how we're viewing it. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, the language used against them. I mean, I agree with you 100%, Stokes. I'm going to go back to what my original statement was. It's distractions. Now, one of the things that you always hear, we need to put an agenda together. We need to put this together. Where's the plan for the black man? Where's the plan for the black folks? So when you put a plan together, and it's not like Ice Cube sat in his basement and wrote a plan by himself. Like he went and consulted with few of our master teachers or people, Power Economics, Claude Anderson, a few people, Dr. Boyd. I heard that he spoke with between me and your holy spoke with the minister.
Yeah, the national plan.
Yeah,
that the Honorable Mr. Louis Farrakhan and the Million Man March.
Right.
He presented it to Clinton.
Right. And Ice Cube is exhibiting that regardless of the situation and whatever side or whatever he on, he didn't specifically say he's supporting Trump. He specifically said, I had a black agenda. When he tried to meet with the Democrats, they told him, we'll meet with you after the election, which is understood. Well, that's them. Donald Trump said, we'll meet with you right away. That does not imply that he has support for him. So once again, to me, it's distractions. My whole point right now is, what are we gonna do? Does that agenda fit with him? What is the real agenda? Why are they treating? And you see it, and you have black folks divided on this whole issue, which is a problem, Brother Stokes, as you're pointing out. And this is not the time for sisters, as a professor, to be calling out a brother and swearing and calling them this and using derogatory terms for a brother trying to sit down and for the betterment of your people. And I'm pretty sure the reference of the Black Caucus, why haven't they disclosed what they were trying to do from the get-go? Who is that plan for, Stokes? I remember, and it didn't start with Clinton, but let's use Clinton as an example. I remember when the Black Caucus said they had a plan and sat down with Clinton. You know what plan came out of that? 3 strikes.
What was it?
3 strikes. So don't let him get all the blame for that. Let your Black Caucus get blamed for that. So there are organizations that we know that are put in place to coincide with what this political structure is doing, as long as a few brothers make it. And that's the sad part about it. Let me ask you a question. When did the right to vote started? When? Like 65, 60?
65, yeah.
50. Okay. There were black people in office before then. Where was the vote then? Did the vote matter then?
I don't think so.
No, I'm asking you. We've been in Congress and been in offices ever since the 1700s and the 18th. We had mayors in black cities. Was it about voting?
No.
So why all of a sudden have we adopted this whole concept of, to remove somebody out, you vote? No, these people are putting who they want to put in office. But we don't have to get tied into the vote, because we had black thriving communities with mayors, with people, with representatives that were going to DC before that. So what happened?
And now,
we gotta ask ourselves, what happened?
Well, we have stopped trying to put an agenda together. First of all, let me say our our never being unified as a people is the biggest issue that we have as Black people.
Right.
Our inability to unify and to vote. I don't. If the vote isn't relevant, what is it? If the vote isn't relevant, what is it? It is an opportunity for us to choose which white person is going to get into office to best support white people's needs until we have an agenda that supports specifically what it is that the best in the fields of economics, social, and political of our brightest minds put together a thought, put it on paper, and we submit it to this government. And quiet as this kept, this plan of ice cubes is really a way for us to begin to talk about reparations. And instead of us, okay, now that all the smoke is clear, what can we do to enhance the contract with Black America? Let's not focus on that. And when Biden and Kamala Harris get elected and they get into office, we push it. And I just want to say this, like even here in Springfield, we have gun violence in our community, right? And it's out of order. It's crazy. Mm-hmm. And they're trying to find solutions to the problem, right? And we don't have any political leadership here that can get this done. And so when people are running for office in Springfield, for Mayor Richard Neal and all of them, what do we tell them we need in order for you to get our votes? What do we don't even, Richard Neal lives on Atwater, right across the street from Bay State Hospital, and yet we can't get resources to help our community with gun violence. Right. So the same thing is politically, and then go ahead, Brother Down.
I just want to say this. I'm producing in the background. You say gun violence. There are so many prevalent issues on the local level. Economic development. When I moved to Springfield back in the early 90s, I think it was 94, we had Black businesses going all the way up State Street, cutting down Oak Street, Eastern Ave, Hancock Street. They're all gone. The vast majority of them are gone. The question is, when people, whether it's Springfield, Chicago, Bootleg, Utah, it doesn't matter. When people critique Ice Cube for coming up with a plan, we have to ask ourselves, what are we doing in our own locality? So I just want to chime in to say the same thing, because as you're saying it, I'm sitting here thinking, I'm like, well, on the local level across the country,
right,
51 states, you can't critique a man for coming up with a plan when you're living in the middle of chaos and you don't have a plan for the local level. Are we still? There are going to be people who still go back and vote for Dominic Sarno. When the riots and everything broke out, Richard Neal went down on the front steps of City Hall to tell people, along with when they had that little prayer circle, to tell people to pray. No, dude, you're the chairman of the House Ways and Means Commission.
Talk about it.
No, how about an economic development plan? So this is Springfield. The same thing's happening in Hartford, New Haven, Bridgeport, Stamford, New York City, Newark, Patterson, all the way down 95. You're gonna drive down and see the same thing. So my initial response when I heard about Ice Cube, it was nothing against anti-Ice Cube. It was just, that's how much I hate Donald Trump. I keep slipping. The two
same dude. No, you ain't slipping.
Same dude. So that's how much I cannot stand Donald Trump. But then on the flip side, I also can't stand Biden. If you look at all the video, the video montages they had, this dude said nigger more times than the hardest rapper on the block. Mm-hmm. So they're asking us to choose between the Klansman and the alt-right dude, the Nazi dude. You know what I mean? So it's kind of like, I hear you guys when you talk about the vote. I don't think I've ever not voted. But I'm asking myself today at age 56, like, damn, is this vote really relevant?
Yeah.
Keaton asked the question. You know, we've been voting, man. Don't you know during Reconstruction we have more blacks in federal elected offices than at any other time in American history, including now. And what did that get us? After Reconstruction, with the implementation of black codes, the red summer of was it 1919? Man, they decimated any black community that existed across the country, not just in the South, not just Mississippi, but also up here in the North. So it's kind of like when we talk about that vote, I understand it's valuable. It's about as valuable as a dollar bill. And a dollar bill ain't nothing but a piece of paper.
Right.
Votes matter when you can actually create change, positive, constructive change that's going to enhance the quality of life for everybody that's impacted, not just white people. 2020, we're still asking white people for permission to live. We still want their validation. The flip side is you started off the show talking about, you know, what exactly is a black man? You know, how do we define ourselves as black men? When do we create safe spaces for us to speak as black men?
Right.
Ice Cube stepped up as a black man.
Right.
I don't dig Kanye, but he stepped up as a black man. The bottom line is, where are the safe spaces for black men? Every time we step up and speak, we're criticized by everybody: black women, white men, white gays, black gays, Asians, Latinos, you know, the list, Chinese, Japanese. Everybody criticizes black men when they step up. If we step up too hard, then we're penalizing consequence. If we continue to step up, then we end up with these accidental deaths. So as black men, how do we define ourselves? I think I'm listening to everything you guys are saying, but it's like the stuff with Ice Cube, I get it. They attacked him. So the question is, how do we as black men respond to this? If you come back on that same female professor and you start, you know, you stand up for Ice Cube, now all of a sudden you're misogynist, you're a chauvinist, you're that what's that term they use? Toxic. You're that toxic, masculine dude that everybody talks about. Although everybody else can spin on you. So the question is, as black men, since this is Black Man Thoughts and Talk, yo, as black men, how do we declare our black manhood? How do we do that in a safe space where we're not just, you know, forget white people. How do we make sure that we're safe from other black people who have a problem with black men stepping up and being strong and black? Malcolm X stepped up strong and black. The white folks wanted to kill him, but black folks down in Jersey wanted to kill him even more. Medgar Evers stepped up. Black folks criticized him. They criticized King. King was the passive one, so they said. Marcus Garvey, black man turned on him. Then Mark Vesey, black folks turned on him. Nat Turner, black folks turned on him. That list goes on and on and on. So it's like the spiritual warfare we're engaged in. There's a cultural warfare we're engaged in. Then there's this huge ass racial battle that's like galaxy wide with us. And it's like, how do black men step up in 2020 and declare their black manhood? I said I was going to step on for 30 seconds. I done spit out a mouthful.
No, but
you y'all address that.
You bring a good point up. I mean, I think the to answer your question, the first thing is we need to remove ourselves from all that racial and systematic stuff and deal with us first. Step away, like you said, and deal with us first. What we need as black men, we need to do that. I want to chime in because I'm gonna finish that point. I want to chime in. Somebody had put in a post that, so you're saying that the vote isn't irrelevant. I agree with what Daryl's saying. If you're going locally, if any of us want to run and you're going locally, I think it has some relevance there. But if you're talking about national, this is a big distraction for you because there's more people that vote, and it's statistically shown more people vote nationally than they do locally, which nationally we know that's just a facade or anything like that. So and just like Daryl said too, I'm on agreements with this. We got to stop begging other people for what we need and what we want when we can just put our agendas together for ourselves and start taking stuff and start setting things up for us. And we don't have to beg anything. When you wake up in the morning, do you ask somebody to wake you up? I mean, besides praying to whatever God you pray to, but do you call your boss or ask people to say, hey, can you wake me up? Can I get up right now? Normally, we already have in our spirit not to ask nobody anything. We beat out our own drum. It's called a conscience. We have consciences. We just have to use our conscious energy in a positive way that's dealing with us as people.
Yeah,
The other piece, I'm sorry, Charles. I know it's your show. Give me 1 second. The other piece,
brother.
I'm gonna disagree just a tad bit. When we talk about the national level, our congressmen, which impact national legislation, they're locally chosen. They're locally elected. Congressman Neal, we could replace him too. What's the other dude? We got Elizabeth Warren. She's local. There's Ed Markey. Yo, the list goes on. And the thing is, what good is a strong political platform if you have no economic foundation? That's like baking a pie without the crust, and you know, no crust, no pan, no nothing. You just give me the fruit to put in it. We need more. If we're gonna have the pie, we need the political, the intellectual, and the economic. Point blank. So it's like until we figure out what the hell our plan is gonna be, locally, regionally, nationally, dude, man, it's like, what the hell you telling me about a vote for? And I said it last night, Drew. I'll say it again. People saying our ancestors died for a vote. No, they died to survive. They were constantly under attack. Don't tell me about a vote. The vote was just, it's an effect of a larger problem. So I think we need to stay focused. We're allowing folks outside of our community to dictate our narrative and to dictate our agenda. If that agenda doesn't have a nice balance of intellectual development, economic and political development, then basically everybody is selling us a lot. It ain't gonna happen. I'm not W.B. Du Bois. I'm not talking about the talented 10th. I'm like, yo, I don't want a 10th of my family to make it to success. I want the whole damn family to come with me. So if we don't have a plan, then we just pontificating on shit that we know we ain't gonna never give it a resolve. So go ahead. Unless
we are doing what we're doing now, right? And because my charge is for each of us. So now I got 3 people, right? Each of us here locally that come on this show, I'm asking those individual people to get in contact with 1,000 men, right? So I get 1,000, Daryl gets 1,000, Andrew get 1,000 men, right? And then we come together with us an agenda, right? And then we get people to support what it is that we know that we need. And I think that by organizing like that, and like you said, Daryl, and Andrew said also, sometimes we're gonna have to, some things have to be taken by force, because you're saying, how do we get our black manhood? How do we identify our black manhood? Getting our people together and doing what Ice Cube did. And if you don't, and like I said, if you're black and you're locally here in Springfield and you don't think that what we're doing is going to benefit you, then you don't have to be a part of it. And we're still going to help you because we love you. But we have to begin to do things on our own without being inhibited with, am I offending somebody? Am I being rude? Am I being disrespectful? Coddling people's feelings and emotions based upon you wanting to move on your vision for all of us, because obviously it's not being done.
Absolutely.
Obviously right now it's not being done.
Nope. So it clearly is not being done right now. And listen, man, I you know, I'm with my brother Andrew. I'm with you, Stokes. There's a whole lot that's up. I think Drew said last night we have to separate. He said again today, we have to separate on an intellectual level. We have to separate on a spiritual level. Correct me if I'm wrong, Drew. We got to separate and pull ourselves away from the fray. When our whole agenda is based on integrating in, listen, man, we already know too much milk fucks up coffee.
True that.
So we have to figure out a way to separate ourselves out. And I think that's number one. Number two, we can get tweaked. Back in 96, Minister Farrakhan brought 1 million men to Washington, D.C. 2 days later, 1 million men went back home. We need when we gather that 1 million men, and nothing against the minister. I love him, respect him. Oh my God, he created a template for us. But that 1 million men, we need about 500,000 warriors. The first thing we need to do is learn to defend ourselves. So, Brother Stokes, there's times when you're like, Brother Dow, I can't, because the first thing I want to do is lay hands on them, and I'm not Jesus.
And you're going to jail, they're going to call the cops.
But that's just it. You know, and I shouldn't be saying this on the air because some of this stuff should be private, confidential conversation. But I think for those brothers who are like, look, you want to work a miracle, you want to heal the sick and save the poor, that's cool. I'm about to go out there. My job is to make sure I'm the front line. My job is to make sure you can safely do it. So
Amen.
When we get those 3,000, yo, Stokes, your men, yo, those are the cats who are going to be like, yo, you get past them. It's like getting past a race of amazingly black, dope
Absolutely.
Am I right? You want to get past Bruce 1,000. You know, you better be a master strategist. You better be that dope ass dude in chess. So, right. I mean, I think we have to look at this thing tactically. Otherwise, we're just pontificating and spitting out rhetoric like everybody else.
Right. And I just want to say that Keith was saying, when we are tactical and we have these rebels that are protecting the community, they just can't have the mindset it's all about protect. They have to have the intelligence because they're going to be the first targets of anybody anyway. Mm-hmm. So one of the reasons we're targets anyway without an agenda and a tactical plan. So like I said, when we raise, I don't want to keep going back to the spirituality piece, but when we raise our energy and our spirituality and get everybody trained in a technical, same thing that you would do in a military tactic, but you train people the correct way and how to talk, but make sure it's on the purpose of protecting our people. We can do this. It's not like we can't do any of this stuff. And you're right, Daryl. People don't need to know what we're doing. You know, people really don't know what we're doing. They just need to know that, oh, damn, they organized.
Yeah, they're
not playing.
And let me clarify something. When I say that, Drew, I'm giving my people the benefit of the doubt, something that we don't do and the rest of the world damn sure doesn't do. I'm assuming that group of folks, listen, the United States has one of the strongest militaries in the world. At one point they did. And they did it because their military, they assumed that these people were the best in the world. The expectation was set for them to be the best in the world, and they became the best in the world. And I think we have to do the same thing with our folks. Sometimes when we talk about the intellectual capacity of the warrior on the front line, we think because the dude got hands that they don't think.
Right.
You look at Roy Jones, you look at Mayweather, you look at Ali. We know that our warriors think. It's not just a matter of reaction and physical athleticism and strength and might. Our brothers, and I'm not disagreeing with you, I'm simply clarifying.
Right.
My thing is, these brothers are dude, I watch cats take over whole sections of New Haven. I watch cats do it in Waterbury. I seen cats do it here. Brilliant brothers who can also knock you the hell out.
Absolutely.
So I think most of our warriors they're not on college campuses because college campuses are the real jail cell, if you ask me. I don't give a damn what anybody say. We're in these cages. We come out so brainwashed to an extent. Sometimes we're more institutionalized than the cats that do hard time. The cats that do hard time, when they're reading and they're studying for a specific purpose. They're being Malcolm
to fit into corporate. You're right. One reason you go to college is to learn how to fit into the white man's society. You're right.
Imagine, let me say this. Imagine going to college to learn how to come out and be the best sharecropper, the best best cotton picking slave on the plantation. And that's all you can think of, and you can't get past that.
Yeah.
And that's why the Malcolm said, unfortunately, the best place for a black man to get an education is in the penitentiary. And one of the misconceptions about black masculinity when it manifests itself in anger, people thinking that you're not thinking, that you're like Dell. That was a good point. Like you're just angry. Nah. When I was told in 2000, after doing 20 plus years in the penitentiary, that I shouldn't run for city council because nobody's gonna vote for me. I'm like, man, I'm running. I've never had the spirit of, like, they were telling me, wait your turn, this is how to play the game. I'm like, what game are you talking about? This is life. So I'm running for office. I get 4,987 votes, right? Nobody in the black community supported me because they said I was angry. And I would always say, if you find a black man in America that's not angry, then something's wrong with him. Because Now, I'm not talking about anger where it makes you want to do something, but the conditions that we find ourselves under. And then when you put together an agenda and a program, I keep wondering, whose permission do I need? Like, how do I need somebody's permission to think on a thought, put it into action? But because I don't get your permission, you're not gonna help me. This is the condition, and this is why we have to get the white man out of us. We gotta get white supremacy out of us before we can really deal. We gotta, like, we're always thinking about what white people think. Even like right now, we're voting for Biden because white people in the electoral college can identify with Biden.
Stokes, I'm gonna disagree with you. I'm gonna push back.
Go ahead.
You say white people, and then you go to the national election. Even more dangerous is this is a space for black men to talk about black men issues and who we talking about.
No. What I mean by that is,
but just dig me on this. To get rid of them means that we have to clear them. This place right here has to be segregated. So before we even get to the election, as long as we're carrying them into our conversations, bruh, Biden's all the way across the country right now, long Trump on the other part of the country, and we're dragging them in our conversations. We know them cats ain't doing nothing for us.
So here's the reason why I say that is because a lot of the things that we're talking about, people in our community have begun to slander us based upon that. And what I'm saying is, once they eradicate that from themselves, I think that we'll always have to be asking for permission.
I disagree. You got your own show, right? You on every Saturday?
This Saturday, next year, God willing, yeah.
Okay. The information that you and Drew, I jumped in on your conversation. The information that you and Drew are espousing, y'all come up with your own conversations, your own independent thoughts?
Yep, because we didn't have no post-production, no pre-production. So we conversating. You right.
So who gave you permission to do this?
Nobody.
Not a damn soul. Drew, you've been running you co-run a festival for the last 13 years. Who'd you ask for permission?
The only person that I consult with is D.Moss, and D.Moss can tell you we've tried to bring people in and we've tried to listen to people. But at the same token, if people don't have your same vision, you can bring as many people as you want in. If they don't have the same vision and it's not coming from you, then what the hell? Then what the hell are you sharing your vision for?
Right.
So the thing is no, to answer your question, not to make a long answer, is no, nobody. I mean, we have a formula. The thing about it is you have a formula. We have a formula. We didn't go show anybody what we were doing. Me and Daryl know our formula from A to Z. We never sat down with anybody and showed us our formula and showed us anything. That's the only fault that I have with Ice Cube, is because he went to white people to show him an agenda. And what happened? They used it to get the media involved and have every single person divided about the issue and put him out there as like he's some evil master or some evil person trying to help his people. But we don't need no agenda. We know what is need to be done. Just like right now, right, Daryl? Ask you this question. You know, working in the city, you know who gets this, who gets that, what needs to be done. And not even that, me and Stokes can ride around and see things. You already know, have an idea of what we need, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
from the inside.
And then there's another thing too. We keep talking about agendas. With that agenda is for us. We don't have to put that agenda together and go show a whole bunch of people or go get permission from anybody. This is our agenda. This is what we're trying to do.
And that's my point, Drew. We've been running, let's see now, Ahmad Sharad's been running the program for about 200 kids for the last almost 10 years at Brookings School. Nobody's permission. He works for the police department. He don't utilize their resources and funds. He gets it done. We've been running the Young Scholars Academy every Saturday for the last 5.5 years. Nobody's positions. I don't even want your money. I don't do nothing where I have to get funds. And it's like working for Dominic, what's the name again? Sarno. For the last 12 years, this dude never put a dollar into anything that I've done. You know why? I don't want his help. Didn't want nothing from him. So my thing is, we can do anything we want to do.
Hey, can I cut Daryl? I'm gonna cut you off because Daryl's 100% right. I would get on Daryl every year. Daryl, man, I don't need nothing from them. Am I lying?
No.
He said that. I said, Daryl, yo, we can get some money. Yo, let's talk to. We don't need nothing from them. And he would reassure me that we didn't need no money from them. And every 30 days before the festival, I'm sitting in here shivering like, damn, how we gonna pull it off? But we pulled it off.
Yep. Listen, when the festival is over and I'm walking around trying to pay bills, let me tell you something. We got Brian. What's Brian's last name? He gonna shoot me. Smith. No, Brian
Thomas.
Brian Thomas, Rob Jones, brother Kareem from the mosque. You know how many cats have come out of pocket saying, here's 200, here's 50, here's 300. I remember Rob one time pulled out about a G and just said, here, go pay off everybody. So my thing is, we have everything we need sitting in our living room. We have everything.
We have a question, D.
Go for it.
What is taking us so long to become self-sufficient to where we can get to or what do we have to do to get to a point where we're beginning to be sufficient enough economically to I don't know, like I'm trying to figure out.
I know where you're going. We'll never be put it like this. We'll never be economically stable enough to do what the hell we want to do in this country. This is America.
Okay.
It wasn't designed for us. Every time we get 3 steps ahead, they're gonna push you back 2. So that's not the thing. I think we have to become that. Remember that little storybook we read back in the elementary school, The Little Engine Who Could?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
We have to convince ourselves that we can. There's not a fucking obstacle, excuse my language, there's an obstacle in the world that we can't get over. I can only use myself as a personal example, and I don't want to get into the I bullshit, but there were cats feeling sorry for me when this dude gave me the termination letter. I posted it before he did. You know why? That dude didn't make me. My parents did. That dude didn't make me. My black friends in Meriden, the ones I grew up with who were like, yo, D, you smarter than that. They did. The cats I went to college with, they did. The cats I rocked it with when I was in Waterbury. Then when I moved to Springfield, you know who made me? Y'all did. This dude signed my paycheck. When each and every one of us go to work, sometimes we assume that our position or our title defines us. That title ain't shit. The paycheck is temporary. What defines us are the people that we live with, that we live around, the people who support us through the thick and through the thin. Them folks downtown ain't got no love for us. And until we get out of our heads, dude, we're always going to be locked in on the plantation. I mean, the physical ties are gone, brother. But the shadow of slavery is always looking over our shoulders.
Yeah.
And until we free ourselves up here, yo, man, spiritually and intellectually, that's first and foremost. Stokes, you can do I don't think every time I've talked to you, when you said you was running for city council, I know you didn't get a negative from me. I'm like, brother, do it. No, I know you wasn't talking about me, but I'm just saying, sometimes we spend more time focusing on the people who are dogging us than we do the people who got our back. I can walk anywhere. If Stokes walks in the room, yo, listen, my voice gets a whole lot deeper. You know why? Because shit just got real. That means I can say what I want and I ain't worried about nobody saying anything as long as I'm on the side of justice. When I walk in the room with Keaton, I'm straight. When I walk in with Big Rob, I'm just like, yo, I'm saying what the hell I gotta say. Yeah. And when all y'all in the room, it's kind of like, that's the shit that pushes you forward.
Right.
I can be broke as hell. I ain't worried about money. Nobody ever I don't think any of us really cares about money. Mm-mm. We just want to make sure our basic bills are taken care of. But the support that we need comes from our family, our brothers and sisters who may not even be blood related. But we spend more time talking about the people who say we can't do things. And as black men, Man, I look at my circle. They say you want to ask a man who he is. Look at the people he surrounded himself with.
True.
Right.
I got cats surrounding me. I'm like, yo, Donald Trump can bring on the FBI, his Secret Service, I don't give a damn. I'm straight.
And you know what? I just wanted to jump in, and that's the generality of a lot of brothers that I socialize with here, that I grew up with. Like when they had the Harambe, man, them brothers from Rifle Street, they fed about 1,000 people.
Yep, they
free
sure
of
did.
charge.
They sure did.
And they didn't charge them nothing.
Right.
And whose permission did they get to do that?
None of that. They had said to leave, and I went to the FOI and CFIS and said it would not be a good idea to go and bother them. They're gonna feed these people and leave. Anything else, it could be over, because them is OGs. They want to feed the community. This is why this show came about, to highlight the black men in our communities who get up every day without a contract or contracting, who do floors, paint houses, to the men who get up in their trucks and pick up scrap all day from sun up to sundown to make sure that their families are eating. For the dudes who got the barber shops and the brothers who got the restaurants, Rockwalla and Rockwell and all of those brothers, we get up every day to make sure our families eat. And we need to be applauded amongst each other, because how I'm seeing it, it doesn't, I've said this before, black men are told, shut up and bear it. Get over it.
Put your head down, boy.
Man.
Be quiet, boy. Put your head down, boy. Just don't say nothing. It'll go away. Just don't shh, because you want to curry favor with the rest of them, man. Please.
And when you don't do that, and these men are out here, we're out here, and so this is what this platform is about, and to be able to express that, and they don't give a damn about anything that's going on. What we've talked about today, man, they trying to get a blunt, a beer, and watch football. But their lives are okay.
But you know what? But they do give a damn. Like you mentioned, Rottweiler, one of the smartest brothers I know. A lot of them cats, oh no, they talk about this stuff, but they talk about it quietly. And the purpose of shows like this is to make sure that we can reach them. It's not to give yourself a platform to build the ego. None of us are in it for that. Right. It's about getting the word out to regular people, man. That just regular cats. Don't give a damn about academics. Don't care about millionaires. Don't care about white folks. Yo, black, indigenous, people of color, I'm rocking with them. Right now, we're in the middle of a huge ass war on a number of fronts. I'm rocking with them because we got work to do. And the bottom line is we need cats who can be unapologetic, like you, my man Drew, and just, y'all getting it in. So I'm going to slide off, let y'all finish y'all conversation. I butted in. I said I was going to let y'all rock.
Nah, so, man, you always enhance the conversation, no but doubt, I want to say this. I know Daryl's gonna. I want to say this though. I think you used a strong word earlier, Stokes, when you said us. I think the inclusion when it comes to like-minded people, not everybody is going to agree to what you agree to. So I think when you like, you don't keep saying things till it sinks in now. And I've learned this from my inner circle now lately. And my sisters always was telling me this. You can keep saying and keep teaching, but you can't keep waiting to do things, because that holds up the action. Because either people are going to come with you or they're not going to come with you. And if they see what you're saying later on, then they'll come with you later on. But right now, it's immediate action. And I'm saying that to understand clearly more what I'm saying. It's the same thing with the whole concept of voting Democratic or Republican. We're so split down the middle that as us, we can't even come to one particular party that we want to vote and support. We don't even know about the Sister Walker that's on the independent party, that her whole agenda as a vice president is reparations. Like, nobody's not even heard. The media took them out the mainstream. Like, people don't even know that because they haven't researched. All you hear is, and I was one of them. I've been out the last month. I've been on voting campaigns and I've been pushing it. Yeah, but I'm gonna do that.
Right.
But at the same token, I understand, and I understand where it comes from, and I understand what it's about. But at the same token, when it's time to roll, and it's time to plant this, which the time is now, can't worry about everybody, because not everybody's not going to agree with us. Everybody's going to want to stay comfortable here. A lot of people ain't going to want to piss off their bosses. A lot of people are going to choose money over peace and happiness. They're going to choose things. It's the people that's not bound and tied to any master is going to see it first. And so at that minute, we have to be the example so we can show them how it's done. And later on, if they want to join us and they have a good set of mind and they connect spiritually with what we're trying to do, then they can come on. Until then, we have to be prepared and ready for action for the people that understand what we're trying to do. And that's how like Daryl was talking about earlier, that's where all the infiltrations came in. Is we were all trying to include every single body. Listen, one of the most powerful armies that were ever created on the black side was Blah. And Blah came out of the Black Panthers. And that was the Black Liberation Army. And they were forceful underground group. And Blah didn't last, I don't even think, a year, because the first person they put in Blah was an infiltrator. It was the Chinese dude. He came in there, got them all the guns, and he was actually an FBI agent and infiltrator. See, that's our problem.
Absolutely.
We keep letting people come in, consult. People get on their knees and say, man, I'm with y'all. I got you. Hey, man, let's get it done. And even our brothers do the same thing. Hey, man, I got you. Get out of the meeting. Hey, these niggas is doing this. Hey, these brothers got this going on. I'll click. You know what I'm saying? That's the type of brothers that we have to get away. But we need to be able to decipher it through who's real and who's not real. And I'm not saying that I always had this mentality, because it took me an incident to even get on this path. Like I all played. I used to drink. I used to do all of this. I did all kind of stuff. I messed a lot of things up, because of how I was. But then I got to the mindset where it's about peace of mind. It's about peace of mind and not worrying about the systematic shit that goes on that has nothing to do with me.
Absolutely, man. Wonderful said. And that's like the point where we're at in this dynamic in the time and now in which we're living. And one of the things that must be done, like I'm like walking into the spirit of the Million Man March. I know that pledge that was taken from the Million Man March, and even though I wasn't a part of the Million Man March, I was in Walpole when that happened. Mm-hmm. And funny thing about it was we did a work stoppage where we was going in protest, right? And like you say, as me and my brother Bilal were walking out of the masjid, I said, dress heavy tonight. And he said, why? I said, man, they're coming to get us in the morning, man. Before the morning comes, we're going to be out of here. He said, why? I said, somebody going to tell. And sure enough, dress heavy mean put on 2 sweatsuits, socks, extra underwear, because they're going to lug you. And they shipped us to Rhode Island, So, but that the spirit in which that all that stuff was taking place and how I got to where I'm at is from, and I just have to be honest, and I'm encouraging brothers to listen to the minister, man. He offered some good advice, and he really like taught me how to be a man and not to be afraid to speak the truth and about resurrecting our people. And all of that is a tremendous part of who I am. I am Charles X. I am in the Lamb Books of Life and the teachings of Honorable Elijah Muhammad and Minister Farrakhan. So I'm not telling people to join the nation, but I'm saying to black men, you should get message to the black man. Get the Final Call newspaper. And yes, absolutely. The Nation of Islam has always had a plan for manhood. Absolutely.
You know, Stokes, that it is good points. I mean, there's people that's been putting plans that the whole 10-point platform plan that the Black Panthers used came right out of the Nation of Islam.
Yes, sir.
The whole thing came right out of there. So I mean, you're right on that. I mean, there are you know, the Nation of Islam has a long history in the community of reforming black men. Not only that, with plans. It's just, once again,
90 years. 90 years.
Yeah. And
they've been in our community.
Right.
And
yep. And once again, it's about it's just about everybody's mindset and agendas. If you know, people choose specific and fictitious gods over plans. And people, and the whole history really behind the Nation of Islam was about what? Was about nationalism.
Black nationalism and it's the particular mission of the Nation of Islam was to come to resurrect the black man, woman, and child from the oppression of white supremacy. And boldly, some of the greatest men historically to ever live has come out of the Nation of Islam and those teachings for manhood. And I encourage brothers who are listening to this show and wives and to have your sons and stuff on Sunday, go to NOI.org and listen to Ismail Muhammad. He has, the Minister Farrakhan has a character that is unparalleled when it comes for his love of black people. And when I heard that I'm not a nigger, but I'm God, I am the original man, a direct descendant from God, and that the black woman was not a bitch. That's a female dog. She is the queen of civilization. You're the father of the universe. The first inkling of insight on who I was as a man comes from this book. And I read this book, Message to the Black Man. This book right here, in the 1980s, I read it. And I was like, wait a minute. Like, for instance, I want to read this. This is what the Honorable Elijah Muhammad said. We have suffered injustice at the hands of the white people for 400 years. And today some want to be called citizens of America. But all of this without the qualities that go along with freedom. We are today, I repeat, imbued with the spirit of justice for our people. The civil rights movement is trying to do a good effort to bring a better life for our people. The political administration may change every 4 years. The Constitution gives to the people of America. And if we understand it well, it was not written with so-called Negro in mind. It was written for the white citizens of America and not the slaves. So it will never be equal with us. And when I read that, man, it's like And so me living in this reality of knowing that we're just on a extended plantation, like we want a Black Wall Street, right? Come from Wall Street,
Right.
who sold slaves in New York. Wall Street, the first commodity was Black life, Black men. And so I just encourage people to not to be afraid of Minister Farrakhan. And whatever you don't like, don't take. But for men, and particularly, it's the best place to be because he ministered to us as men, and nobody has a history of reforming men in this country like the Nation of Islam.
That's
Brothers like
fact.
me and others, True Love Allah and Charles Fryer, who is now Hamza, and it's like something about that teaching that is salvation. Other than that, brother, some of us would be a mess. And Ice Cube met with the minister. Remember his career, right? He started off in California. He was able to see that Jerry Heller was doing them foul. He was able to, then he met with the minister in New York. He met with Chuck D, and then he changed.
Mm-hmm.
And even today, they try to make him denounce the minister, and he won't, because the minister has been a father to a lot of Black men who, this brother says, his name is Jason John. He writes for the this Gyro magazine. How can you spot if there's an ice cube in your life? It's pretty simple. These Black men all share the following values with some justification to a certain degree. All white people are racist and can't be trusted.
Mm.
A man's value is determined by his ability to make a lot of money, and the more money you have, the more powerful you are. Women, like most white people, can't really be trusted. However, if you make enough money, you can earn their loyalty, even love. Collective action, marches, protests, voting, and politics don't change anything for Black people. Straight Black men get blamed for everything, and it's not fair. The brother goes on to say about us, this is in a recent magazine, based upon excuse me, Ice Cube's Black contract with America. He's saying how you can identify the Ice Cube in your Black community is because we'll say certain things. Now, what they support, the people who are talking about it like this, leftist, progressive, white, feminine, lesbian, gay, transgender community. White, talking about white. That's who they represent. Talking about us, straight, heterosexual Black men. Joy Reid on MSNBC, Jamel Hill, she said that it doesn't seem like Black men want to tear down patriarchy. It seems they want to be a part of it. This is what Jamel Hill is saying about us. This is the attack that Black males are under in the 2020 political atmosphere, which manifests itself in all ways of life. Here, hey, Bishop Swan, he's next to get on here, God willing. Whenever Black men begin to discuss things the way we discuss them, we're put under a category. So our black women unwittingly sometimes help white supremacy when they use the language that that lady from Rutgers used in calling Ice Cube a MFer.
Yeah, and it's not just black women, Brother Stokes. There's a bunch of black men too, and I know you want to get to that point. There's a bunch of them that's put in place with that same agenda on the destroying of the black man, or going against the black man, or saying negative things about the black man too. So as you can pick out 5 women, I can pick you and show you 5 men too.
See,
the same thing.
But this is where we get to.
Right.
When we're having this conversation, there are not 5 black men in political Eurocentric paradigms calling black women motherfuckers.
True.
There are no black men in leadership positions misogynistic towards black women. That language is ascribed to us to mute us. So, for instance, I'm called a misogynist. A misogynist is not even an African term. Misogyny is a classical Greek term given to Greek homosexual men who wasn't having relationships with women. That has never been in an African paradigm. So when we talk about issues of the European gay and lesbian agenda, we're called homophobic. But phobia is a disease of fear mentally. So we don't suffer from these things, but we can't have an open conversation. When we do, we're labeled to mute us. But when Snoop Dogg, after Gayle King said what she said about Kobe Bryant in that interview with Lisa Leslie, and Lisa Leslie was uncomfortable, and Snoop Dogg referred to her as a female dog, everybody turned on Snoop Dogg, and he had to apologize to Gayle King. But Brittany Cooper, who called Ice Cube a motherfucker, has not written anything on Twitter calling Donald Trump a motherfucker. So I'm saying there are people who look like us who are women, and then she goes on to tweet. She had a further conversations after you follow up on her, where she says that Jesus Christ was a queer and could be married to a homosexual. This is what Brittany Cooper has been saying, because she has become so whitenized and she's spewing out worse stuff than Candace Owens is about black men. And this is what we're up against. So I'm not belittling, I'm not casting all black women under that umbrella. But when you hear it being said that the most educated people in America are black women, what are they saying? What are they saying when they keep saying that? What are they saying when they say that black women are super women, black men are thugs, gangsters, black women are the backbone of the black community? What does that say about the black man?
Right.
So all of us have grew up, and Bishop Swan was just flashing. Bishop Swan had a father in his life. Bishop Swan is now a father. I grew up with a father, not by my man who raised me in my house, When I moved to Springfield, the Robersons had a father in their house. Carlos Kelly and them had a father in their house. The Ramseys had a father in their house. Black fathers have always been in our lives. But the narrative in America is that black men are nothing. And so, not accusing anybody of anything, but addressing what's being said to us, printed about us, and then you hear people saying it about us.
Well, you know, one of the things, Brother Stokes, and this is not for everybody, because I've got it in heated debates with people and in heated conversations with people. So one of the things since this COVID has hit, I was always a reader and always into my history and into my spirituality, which I'm going to say over and over now that I'm in tune to it. And I had an opportunity to read more, but one of the things that I did, and you said control the narrative, I have unsubscribed to white controlled media outlets. So I'm not going to have nobody give me negative statistics about anything about as a black person or black people anymore. So I'm not going to listen about who's more educated. I'm not going to listen about who said what about anybody, because at the end of the day, it's all distractions. It's all hoopla, distractions, and headlines, because they know black people are going to choose and pick a side. And they're going to choose this side because the black women are going to stand up for this sister because she's a powerful sister and a professor. And black men are going to go against the sister. And black men with feminine categories are going to go with the sister. So you get my point? People are going to pick sides. All these debates and all of these newsworthy topics that people think they are newsworthy, that I don't think they are all there for distractions to get your mind on something, often really what's happening, and often focusing on you. So what I'm saying is I'm not telling everybody to do what I do, because like we talked about being individual. I'm an individual person, but I have unsubscribed to the media outlet. Let's take a point, Mass Live. I do not subscribe to anything that Mass Live prints anymore, because I am not going to let them control the narrative and let them affect me emotionally to rouse up an emotion that has nothing to do with anything. You know what I'm saying? So I am not, when we always say, let's control the narrative, but then we also in the back minds have their narrative we're focused on. I am not focused on. So
here's what's key.
So Brother Stokes has Black Man Thoughts and Talks with Black. I'm focused on that. So we have the Truth in Ville. I'm focused on that. Daryl has created a platform with 5 shows, now 6, that all during the week you can get, right? 6, 7, all during the week you can get your news, not only your news, your information. And if we keep choosing to, like, I know people that all day long watching CNN and Fox, and then they're calling up, oh man, did you see what he did? What does that have to do with us?
Well, for me, the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan said that the Honorable Elijah Muhammad taught him to teach us to study our enemy, to know him tangibly and intangibly better than he knows ourselves. Yeah. Because the fight that we're having now is with the minds of our people.
But I don't think but Stokes, I don't think the enemy of studying, and I could be wrong. You are the nation, you are the black man, you are the king. But I think when they say study is because I think it was more about study their moves.
Well, since I'm a part of it, let me help you with what they mean by studying our enemy. You ever read the Iceman Inheritance?
Yes, I have. I read the
Okay.
Iceman. I read a lot.
So the Iceman Inheritance is a book describing the mentality of this enemy, right? So it gives us an end because I'm connected to Minister Farrakhan. I can go in here, get this stuff, this information that is controlling the minds of our people so that we can cut it off. I am a surgeon cutting off white supremacy. And so it's not like I'm talking about them in fear.
Right.
I'm talking about them to eliminate that, to cut their heads off. And I'm assuming that we are aware of that. So I'm talking about those who are suffering, not just from COVID-19, but from white demonology, white supremacy.
Yeah,
so that's my whole point.
No, but that's true, Stokes. That's right. But I'm just saying personally for me, I chose not to subscribe to any white outlet in medias. I barely watch certain TV shows. I mean, I did get into like Love Country, but my more focus is on the meditation piece and more of the reading piece. It's just like they always control. I hear brothers talk. Let me just bring a great point up to you. I hear I've been into conversations right here in the city of Springfield, and I hear brothers bring up, we had Black Wall Street, and Black Wall Street in Tulsa was burnt down. Well, what about in 1908 in the city of Springfield when you had a black massacre? Like there's been known to man, and I have it right. There's been almost 60 black massacres, and about 20 of them took place before Tulsa even happened. So what I'm saying to you is that that's all we hear. We have a history of our people that we not even dive into it. Now, what was that? What happened in Spring? There were black businesses all over this country. So it wasn't one isolated area where black people were striving. They were striving back before then. It goes to my point earlier that before 1965, we had black people represented as mayors. We had black communities thriving. So I'm not gonna be lulled back to sleep because somebody get on the news and they get on PBS and do a story on Tulsa and say, oh, well, it wasn't so bad. We only had one. The reason why Tulsa is so significant is because they called the National Guard in on Tulsa and started bombing over there. So that made it significant to certain people, but all the massacres to me are significant because my people suffered in these massacres. So I'm saying that to say this, that's why I describe from any of their outlets from now. I think Brother Stokes with this platform is now controlling the media. I'm not listening to no media. I'm coming to listen to Brother Stokes.
Praise God. Praise be to
black man and stuff that pertains to me. And people are probably listening to it saying, oh, he crying. You got to find out the news. No, the news has never given anything, any food, anything. When you turn, I remember when I was growing up, real quick, I'm going to make this point. I remember when I was growing up, Stokes, they used to give you 10. When I was a little kid, about 5 or 6 years old, I'm 54 now. The news used to come on, used to give you 15 minutes of community news. Then they give you 10 minutes, 15, 20 minutes of sports. Now they give you 2 minutes of sports. And the rest is how black people got arrested and how black people are causing chaos all over the country, and a few sprinkled in with a few white organizations doing good in the community. That's all you see in news.
Well, I hear you, and it's cool. Well, I just wanted to shift gears a little bit and talk locally for the last 20 minutes. There's some crucial issues coming up in the community that I pay attention to. I pay close attention to, and I want to talk about the mayor, Dominic Trump, and about his attitude towards the black community, how he has been very disrespectful towards the black community. What he did to Brother D.Moss was reprehensible. How he has been doing with the Bishop Swan has been on the front lines, and how he has really have become callous towards the Black community. And we got to do something about that. And we encourage people here to get involved. And we have to make the mayor know and be aware of that we're not going to tolerate his attitude. We talk about us, and we got to be the same way with these politicians that come into our community and do what they want, and then we vote for them, and then they leave. You know, those days we're going to really have to. Again, man, our lack of unity. The Honorable Mr. Louis Farrakhan said, "Our unity is like an atomic bomb."
Mm-hmm.
If we unify, we can blow things up. The math in the city of Springfield shows that we don't have to go outside of our community. And I say this, the Black and brown community, because there's my Latino brothers like Nasir Islam and Khalil Rodriguez, Johnny Tosado, Freddie Tosado, Jose Tosado. I grew up with Jose Tosado, Johnny Tosado. He's a police officer now,
Right.
The city of Springfield. We grew up youth here in the city of Springfield. Betty and Inez and all of those great my Latino brothers and sisters, man. Alberto Coto, me and him is cool. So there's Latinos in the community who are with us, Brother Adam Gomez. And if we unify and understand that we're all one Aboriginal people of the planet Earth, regardless of our religion, our nationality, and our creed, the reason why they are killing us is because we're Black and they hate us. This system was designed for us to be slaves. In this system's constitutions, we are dictated as 3/5 of human beings, less than animals. We have prayed for white people in America for 400 and plus years to be good to us. She doesn't show a desire to be good to us. We vote for her. We go to her wars. We die for her. We do everything to show that we love America, and America defecates on us. And it's locally here, Sarno, Richard Neal, Ed Markey, 3 people in Congress and the Senate of the United States of America, the other woman, Warren. You come here, you get our votes, but because we have no agenda, we're voting just to get rid of people. They don't owe us a damn thing, and they should treat us the way they treat us because we don't ask for nothing. We don't want nothing. We vote because we don't like him. It's foolishness.
Well, listen, Brother Stokes, I listen. Once again,
that's just me.
No, I get that. Once again, I'm not going down there and sitting on the the stores. I mean, the steps of no white folks are going in somebody's office and asking them for shit. All right, I'm gonna tell you that right now. It's a tragic what happened to Bishop Swan and Duro, because we love these brothers. We know what they mean to the community, and the community needs to get behind these brothers.
Yes, sir.
When things happen of that nature, people need to get behind it. They need to stop talking, and they need to support them. So we understand why that was done. Anytime you stand out for your people and you're a voice for your people, you are silenced by your oppressor, or trying to be silenced by your oppressor. But these are 2 brothers that you can't silence, so it didn't really work on your point anyway. So, you know, and all due respect to Bishop Swan, you know, the chaplain, and I know, you know, it's an important position, but you know what? You know, they didn't want him there anyway, so why stay somewhere where they don't want you there?
Because
and then you're gonna turn around. Well, but I'm saying, hold on, Stoke. Then you're gonna turn around and then lie on the brother. So, like I said, regardless, we need to get behind Bishop Swan, get behind Daryl Moss for future endeavors that they may encounter, and never forget what was done to them. See, the problem is we have this, and we something in the community. We have, I call it color amnesia, black amnesia. We go through a phase, the phase happens, and then 2 months later, we don't forget that the phase happens. We never forget, or we forgive. And we saying, oh, that ain't bad. So the mayor come and show up to an event and a funeral. Oh, he ain't that bad, or he never did anything to our family. Well, Bishop Swan is a representation of the Springfield community, and so is Daryl. So it doesn't have to infect you indirectly for you not to stand behind it. And that's our problem. We're united. Anything happens, listen, when they paint that mural downtown and they skidded Mark over it, you had about 7 people call in opposed to why they skid on it, black people, and you had 300 or something plus people call down and said it shouldn't have been down there anyway. So that's their unity. But we do not hold ourselves into the accountable of standing behind our own people when stuff happens. Go ahead.
My pushback is not whether the position that the bishop had, right? They lied on him, and you don't play with me, don't play with us, man. This is what they play with black men, right? They don't play with us. I'm tired of black men being played with, man. You know, you have buck breaking farms where you did some horrific stuff to us. Now you still playing with us. You playing with this man who's asking you to get this lying police commissioner off of the force because she lied. She's a liar. Dominic Trump hangs with liars, and you have liars on your police force. And now you want to put an initiative before the people that if the bad cops do something bad to people in the community, you got 90 days to talk about. This is the corruption that Bishop is talking about. This and to get to why the only thing that I can see in my mind, knowing the landscape, one of the things I did in prison for 20 years, how big my mouth is now, is how big my mouth then was prison, and I was encapsulated, and I wasn't afraid to die. So I have a good idea about the character of what's up here.
Mm-hmm.
I know when I look at a man, do you have any heart? A lot of them don't have the heart to stand up for these types of issues. It's not who they are, but there are a group of people who are beginning to wake up the ice cubes in our community, as this author Jason Johnson of the Griot wrote, also MSC contributor. How do you identify the ice cubes in your community? Trying to use that as a derogatory narrative about us, that we're somehow Republicans and Trump leaning if we say we don't trust white people who've been abusing us for 400 plus years, that the political system ain't doing a damn thing for us because we articulate a fact on the ground. We're not all Ice Cube. We're not all close to billionaires. He didn't have to do this. But we ask, where are the men? The men need to step up. The entertainers need to step up. They step up. But you're asking a group of men, NWA men, who are saying, I don't have to ask nobody to do a damn thing. I can meet with whomever I want to meet with. Because here's the thing. Before Donald Trump became a Republican, Al Sharpton, Jesse Jackson, all the rappers, everybody is in Oprah Winfrey, Everybody was in pictures with Donald Trump before he became a Republican. So you're trying to push the narrative on me that Trump is a boogeyman? He wasn't a boogeyman when you was kissing him and taking pictures with him. But now that he's on stage and he's acting, you trying to convince NWAs that this is the worst part of our life. Spend 5 years in solitary confinement, locked up 23 to 24 hours a day with COs spitting in your food because you down with Farrakhan. You do that for 5 years, and then you spend 20 years, and you're going to tell me to be afraid of Donald Trump? I ain't afraid of that cracker, man. And what he stands for, his policy, I don't give a damn about Trump. And most of the people that hang with me don't give a damn about Trump. But now, when you ask us to get involved, we say, okay, you sure you want this? All right, I'm involved. Now I'm involved, and you're saying, wait a minute. Woo.
He too militant.
Too masculine. You must do some shrinking. And I want you to spell that word out, shrinking. Inside of that word, shrinking, is king. I'm not a shrinker, I'm a king. I'm not a lion, I'm a wolf. I don't perform in circuses. I got the heart of a wolf. I'm a warrior. And there are warrior men out here. And we don't know how to coddle up to people's feelings and emotions. Like the great James Baldwin said, we can agree to disagree until your disagreement goes against me living and eating. Then we're not going to agree to disagree. You're an enemy that I got to get rid of. And so you're telling me, no, we can't operate like that. We got to operate politically. So here's how I operate. Here's how Cube operate. Here's how my brothers that grew up with me operate. Here's how Buck G and them operate. This is how we operate. But we love our people. I'm not going to hurt black people. I'm not going to do nothing to black people. I love black people. But I'm going to have, my mother taught us, her children, if you have a thought and you can't think it and you can't speak it, what the hell used to thinking it then? She said, speak, son, no matter what. She said, never leave a place where somebody got your spirit crunched. And I said, what do you mean? And she said, never let her. And I said, yes, ma'am. And she taught her children, if you get into something, make sure when you get out of it, that the next time that person sees you, their brain jumps out of their mind and say, don't even think about it. Because the last time you remember, and this is how I live my life when I advocate for my community, there's a travesty going on. You got a warrior tribe, and here we come. And this is how we operate. Now, you can deal with some of the warrior brothers who are mild-mannered and everything, but when they got to call me, you got to call me out to the big yard, then, this is how we as men who come from where we come from, who's been through what I've been through, we're losing black men daily. And I want to give a shout out to Marcus Sherman for the loss of his brother Myron. I want to give a shout out to the Washington family for the loss of Kyle, and a shout out to my family, my cousin Joshua. He died of cancer. And so black men are dying in our community that we know and we love. And it's important that people know that we're brothers, we're fathers, we're uncles, we're cousins, and we love our people, we love the community, and we're going to be involved. But this is just some of the realities that exist in our community. And I speak for a voice of people who, when I talk to them about what I'm doing, you know what they say to me? Stokes, man, why you messing with them? They don't want nothing. They don't even like you, man. So when I talk to people and they be like, man, I saw you on Facebook. Man, come on up, man. Just watch football and leave them people alone, man. They're not ready. They don't want you near them. This is what my friends that I grew up with, they're on the dark side. They're like, man, listen, we ain't going over there. But now if you run for office, we'll come out. And those young people who voted for me in 2000, they're in their 40s now. They're going to be coming on the show. You're going to meet some people coming on this show who's getting ready to get politically aware and in the community. So, we got a few minutes left. You got some words you want to say? I talked a little too much.
No. I mean, one of the things that I always tell, and this is for Brother Stokes and the people listening to the audience, I always tell people, and if people call me up and say, hey, Stokes got to calm it down, and Stokes can attest to this, and I've been saying this to Stokes for the last, I want to say 10 years or whatever, how many years, is that y'all need people like Brother Stokes. How many times do I say that to you?
Man, every time. You'll call me sometimes.
Well, because I mean, sometimes you might be, we say we're not unapologetic, but sometimes it could be a conversation. You can say, well, I don't know if I should listen. The first thing I always say is speak the truth, speak what your heart is saying, and speak in your mind. And then I always tell them, I said, you need people like Brother Stokes. We got too many other people that are calm and they handle things a different way. But you also need people with fire and brimstone as well. I mean, it even talks about that in the Bible. It tells you about that. You need people with fire. You need people on both sides of the gamut and both sides of the spectacle. But once again, I just like to say, man, that we at some point need to disassociate ourselves from them, from their policies, from their agendas, create our own way of life, and there are people that are doing that. Don't people think I'm crazy, because one of the things is, we have that your ice is colder, their ice is colder here.
Yep.
Your grass is greener. Well, it doesn't make a difference if their ice is cold and the grass is greener if you still catching hell on with the ice is colder. So we have to make serious decisions amongst ourselves. And a lot of people got a lot to give up. When you're talking about making decisions like that, you have things you have to give up.
True.
But one of the things you do not have to give up is peace of mind.
True.
And your sanity. And why not try peace of mind when you don't have it right now? So I just wanted to say that. So.
Thank you, man. Well, we got like about 5 minutes left in the show. 9 minutes rather left in the show, and again, man, like I think I'm gonna give a shout out to the bishop and offer him some time and different brothers, man, to come on here and just begin to let the community know. Now, another thing too, and I must be honest, although I speak the way I speak, I'm still begrudgingly November 3rd. I'm going to the polls and I'm going to vote. And I'm going to I'll probably vote for Biden because my daughter does not like Donald, 7 minutes left, don't like Donald Trump. And she says that we're going together to vote. We always go vote. So
that's love right there. Your daughter, that's what's love.
Yeah, me and her, we vote. And I want to flip something that's interesting story, right? So we're watching Ice Cube on Don Lemon's show. And he's talking. So my daughter looks up and she looks at him and she says, Daddy, you kind of look like him when you had your beard. I was like, oh, okay. So Ice Cube is talking with Cuomo, and he thanks Cuomo for allowing him on the show. Mm-hmm. And then he said, unlike that punk ass Don Lemon. And so my daughter looked up and said, Daddy, wow, they let somebody on TV like you. And man, I laughed, right? But then after I finished laughing, I thought about it, what she said. And my child saw, or heard rather, in Cube's voice and how he was talking, and she hears how I talk. Wow, he talks like you're talking like him, Dad. So I just said that to say that put me in a great space because it lets me know, man, that it's appreciated. Like we're fathers again, and
Well, you got to understand when what you doing, and I know this, and I know you enough to say this is, it's not just about you. It's
nah,
about your daughter. It's about her
yes,
friends. It's about the next generation. It's about her kids. It's about your your grandkids. It's about their grandkids. This is about the generations to come. We
yes,
are at war, and we are at a spiritual war, and we're at a physical war. We need to get away from the physical war right away and concentrate on the physical war because we can win that one. If you understand who you are and where we come from and the knowledge that we have and the energy that we can create, we can win that war. And that's the one that they don't want us to win, is the
true.
spiritual war. And when I say war, it don't always have to equivalent to going out and shooting and doing this. It's
No,
a spiritual war, and if we collectively come, our energy will overcome anything that they do. So
yes,
you're
absolutely,
doing that for them, and you're doing it for my daughter's kids, and
absolutely,
people
brother.
are moving on. So I understand where that connection comes from because and they see that. There would be a time where your daughter might have sat down and didn't say one word. For the fact that she's saying daddy, regardless of the stuff you're talking, we're still going on Tuesday.
Right.
Or that man sounds like you. And the fact that your daughter is 12, 13, I don't even know her age, that is watching that show and getting that type of knowledge when she could be watching something else speaks volumes too. Even though I just gave a spill about
I know that, brother. I know. Hey,
unsubscribing to
Andrew,
the news.
Andrew. Here's the thing about us. We're complicated, man.
Yeah.
We're we're we're, we're human beings, man, and it's complicated being a black man in America, right? And so it's okay to both things can be true, black man.
You
You
can
know,
listen. One of my sayings is you can be simple and teach the truth, but the truth ain't simple.
amen.
So I
We
get
got
that.
we got 3 minutes left to the show. Brother Daryl, I want to know if you want to come on and say something. Um,
Well,
but
listen. Once again, man, I want to give big shouts out to you, brother Stokes. Keep doing what you're doing. As always, if you need me, I'm here. Unfortunately, I wasn't busy doing anything.
thank
Sunday
you.
is my libation meditation wind down day. It ain't about football on Sunday because I actually haven't even seen my team play one time this year. So, but that's a different story. But thank you, and I want also for the platform. So people are tuning in. There's some great shows. Once again, to keep reiterating it, there's some great shows and great conversations that's taking place in the city of Springfield, and it's not just dealing with city of Springfield. If you've seen our show, we had national people on and talking to issues. So people should take an opportunity to get involved with these shows because I've been getting a lot of emails. These shows that D.Moss are putting on and the other co-hosts around that he has involved, this is something that a lot of people are not seeing. And I know a lot of conversations are taking place across the country, but this is something unique. And this is something that people should take advantage of it. And like I said, I'm not subscribed to the narrative of a Mass Live or any other news outlet. I can get my information and my news from this platform right here on deck. That's a plug for
For
you.
real.
How much money I got? I'm just playing. No, but on a serious token, that's for real. That's serious. I mean, ever since the issue that happened with D.Moss, I unsubscribed to Mass Live. I haven't opened that paper. I haven't even opened it up again. So,
All right. All right,
Yes,
so
sir.
yo, I just want to say congratulations, brother. Your first
Thank you,
show
sir.
is knocked out, and yo, I hope you get comfortable. I'm digging the show. I'm sitting back watching it and everything, and loving the conversation. So I think for folks, if they don't know, they need to know. We need as many voices as possible out there in the airwaves. Let's shake this world up, man. Yo, keep getting your message out there. Keep bringing on the dope hosts. Dope guests. Drew Keaton was like an incredible first guest. So again,
Yes.
kudos to you, man. I'm happy for you, brother. And yeah, let's make this noise. With that,
No doubt, man.
congratulations.
Thank you again, man, and to all the people who listen in, man. I have a saying, man, that anything I said to it that may have offended you, you'll get over it soon. And if I said anything that has been offensive, I really apologize. I don't want to hurt anybody's feelings, but after a day or two and you relax on it, you'll get over it. I don't hate you, and if you hate me, you're in such a long list. To tell me you hate me, you got to make a long distance phone call. But no.
Hey,
But
listen,
I love you all. Thank you, D, man. You the best, man. And we'll chop it up.
I want to say this. Next time I come on the show, right? See, I'm in the screen, and Charles Stokes is standing right here. When you were talking, I put my head up, and you scared the shit out of me because I thought you were standing in the back of me, and I was like, oh, and I was like, oh, it's Stokes right here. So, yo, I swear, I jumped. I was like, oh, shit. That's like,
But I came through there.
I thought it was my ancestors really acting the foreground. I was like, oh, okay. I'm not
That'd
with
be
y'all right
dope.
now.
Now that would be dope if you could teleport me through here.
Yeah.
We'll never have to ask nobody for no money.
I thought you was. I swear I was like, oh, that, let me stop. So, okay. But no, I just wanted to share that because I thought it was hilarious. If you almost moved out, I almost walked out of the camera just a few minutes ago. So, but anyway, thank you guys, man. I appreciate you.
Yes, sir, man.
All right.
Peace.
Look how many of us they got sitting on the shelf. All cause we ain't got the knowledge of ourselves. Reaping the anguish from bringing the pain while we speaking the language of England and Spain. Still wearing their names and they ain't never came in peace before. The real war is with this beast conquistador who conquered us both. With their fake gods and images and honor they owe to rape, rob, and pillage us. The Olmec, Aztec, Inca, and the Maya.